if you can, say a hello and welcome to Craftfest AU. It's towards the end, but welcome. Hello. I hope everyone's doing great. I don't know if you guys want to start now or in a little bit, but welcome to Craftfest. Craftfest is a weekend-long little convention online from Australian cosplayers and creatives on cosplay and a whole bunch of other stuff. My panel is on posing and characterization. I'll introduce myself when I get into the panel. Oh hey Craftfest. Oh hey, welcome everyone. But yeah, hi, welcome to the fun. I had some technical difficulties today, so I'm sorry my panel wasn't on time, but I'm here. So we put Doraemon in the corner. But are you ready? Are you hyped, guys, to learn about posing and characterization? I sure am. But before we do that, I have to thank all of the wonderful sponsors who are involved in Craftfest. We've got Play by Proxy, Kinokuniya, Arterwigs, Lumen's Workshop, the UOW Cosplay Society, and most importantly, Madman. Now, why is Madman the most important right now? Well, by participating in my stream, you are going into the draw to win a $50 voucher from Madman. Very exciting. I actually have an order from Madman coming at the moment, so whoever gets this, I'm very jealous and very happy for you. So be hype. We got the prizes, we got the cool stuff. I'm very excited for you all. If we have any technical difficulties, please let me know. Also, in terms of chat, please keep on task. Keep your brain in Craftfest mode. If you stay to the end, I'll be reading follows and whatever. But for the actual panel, we just want to talk about the panel and Craftfest in general. If you have any questions, keep them to the end. I'll be doing a little Q&A about posing, characterization, any questions that you have. So let's ding-dang get into it, shall we? Let me just swap my monitor. Where is the button? Oh no. Okay. Wow. Okay, I think we're gonna do it there because when I tried to when I tried to do something earlier, it was no. So we're doing it like this. I know, very professional. But okay, yes, welcome to Posing and Characterization, a workshop. So my workshop is going to teach you how to take your photo shoots to the next level. Whether you take photos just at a convention, or you take photos in your room, or you're really into concept shoots like I am and you want to do something really over the top, I got you covered. We go over a lot of stuff in this panel. Also, I'll be showing my cosplay photos. There are credits for all the photographers at the end, but if you're curious about a specific photo, we can talk about that towards the end, but they're all on my social media. Okay, let's get into it. So, introduction. Hi, my name is Gem or Gemma. I'm the Gem cosplay. I go by she, her pronouns. If you're wanting to refer to me, perceive me, you may do so with she, her pronouns. I'm a cosplayer from Melbourne, as you might have guessed, cosplayer. I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and I focus primarily on gaming with a sprinkle of anime chucked in. Oh, hang on, I'll turn my alert box out. I'll thank you for the follows at the end, my lovely people, but we gotta focus. But yeah, I focus primarily on gaming with a sprinkle of anime. I'm sorry I don't have much experience with comic books or superheroes or TV stuff, but I think that these tips are pretty universal, so I hope you'll be able to get something out of them. And there are my socials, you gotta be plugging, always be plugging. But let's get into it. A contents page we shall start with. Music is a bit loud? Okay, I got you. Sorry. Alright. Let me just turn down the tunes. It's honestly been months since I've streamed, so I forgot how to do it. So excuse me on that behalf. Is that better? I'll wait till we confirm we're good so I can continue. I don't want people to be I can't hear. All good now, I think? Okay, excellent. Let's get into it then. So here's our little our little meal plan of what we're getting into in this panel. So firstly, I'm going to teach you how to utilize references, because that's something I personally have found to be really helpful with my photo shoots and planning and all those sorts of things. And then secondly, we'll be getting into the mind of your character. Very theatrical, I know. But getting into like the personality and the spirit of your character, I think really helps elevate your shoots to like the next level. And isn't something a lot of people think about, which is totally cool, but I think it's like something important that we should think about. So I'll teach you how to do that, which flows into how to tell a story. Obviously, not every photo shoot is like this, especially at conventions, but if you're doing a really planned out photo shoot, you might want to tell something in your photo shoot. You might want to express a specific idea or headcanon about that character, and those are sort of tips to bring that to life. And then we're going to be going over something much more simple, which is go-to posing for conventions and simple photo shoots, because I know not everyone is interested or has the resources to do like big photo shoots. So we'll get into that. This PowerPoint is so cute. Thank you. Tried to make it as cute as possible, you know, the gem aesthetic. Also, sorry, my lights are kind of dark. I have a Bluetooth light. I'll try and turn it like on, but it's right now it's like nah, it's like goodbye. It literally says good night on my phone, so sorry about the darkness. That's okay. Let's get into it. So beginning, how to utilize references. So references can mean a lot of things in terms of photo shoots and posing. This could be official art, character models, like in-game character models, fan art, figurines, so many references. Like, I mean, think about the source of your thing you're doing it from. Like if it's an anime, you have cell shades, you have the manga, if it was adapted from a manga, you have sorry, my brain exploded. Everyone has so much source work. Like if you're doing a comic book character, you have the comic books themselves, you have the movies if they're in a movie. So much stuff. Fan art is a really strong one for comic books, I think. There's a lot of stuff you can draw from. So we're going to go into the specific types of fan art, referencing, and talk about how you can utilize them. But I want to start with like an overall tip, which is that if you're doing reference style photo shoots, first of all, they do really well on Instagram. If that is something that you are interested in, a side by side or a cosplay versus character is very enticing to a lot of people. I think they look great because if you don't know the character, you can look at the side by side and be like, oh wow, that's a really cool version of that character, or that's really accurate, you know? But yeah, I think the biggest tip overall I would give for utilizing references is work with your photographer extremely closely. So when I did a 2B shoot a couple of months ago, I had a shared Google Doc with Red Scarf. We're going to see this photo in the next slide. But this shared Google Doc was really fantastic because we could both pull references of things we wanted to do, whether that be posing. I actually sent in some photos just for editing style and lighting. And being on the same wavelength with your photographer really helps with drawing out that vision that you both have. Because sometimes at conventions, or if it's not as planned as well, you and your photographer are going to have different ideas. And it's possible that you might not be as happy with it because you haven't communicated as much. I'd really strongly recommend working super closely with your photographer and communicating a lot, even if it's like following them on Instagram and just sending them pictures of other shoots you like, being like, oh, this looks cool. That's like, I think, a good place to start. But yeah, I just had to like start with that because this section doesn't work unless you really like work with your photographer as closely as possible. But yeah, so let's get into it. The first thing we're getting into is official art. Now, there is a lot of stuff here. I chucked in a few of my own cosplay versus characters, but I'm going to go through them one by one so that I can talk about each of them individually. Also, something you will notice throughout the entire PowerPoint and presentation is that none of these shots are one-to-one accurate because, amazingly, we can't really do the physical things a lot of characters in anime, gaming, comic books can do because they're illustrations or Photoshop or special effects and that sort of thing. Also, like if it's like a movie or something, you know, we don't have personal trainers or things things like that. We can't achieve the things they achieve. Obviously you want to get as close to it as possible, but you just need to remember that like it's hard to do it perfectly, and it's okay if you don't. Literally none of these are perfect. They're just in the same realm of an idea. So first of all, I'll talk about the 2B one because I kind of talked about it on the previous slide. So 2B is this one here. This, even though I don't have my blindfold on in my actual photo, this reference image does. Now, this isn't exact because my body just like, we took a while doing this one. My body did not want to do what this wanted to do. But that's okay. What we did basically is Red Scarf, the photographer, she had the photo up on her phone and she'd be looking at it and be like, okay, move your elbow that way, move your leg that way, that angle. And we really finessed it till we got to that point, and it legit took like 20 minutes and I didn't even do it properly. But like, look how much of a strong photo that looks, right? Like, because it's from the source material, it just like really portrays that character exactly how the game portrays it. Which actually, that's like a slight lie. It's actually not from Nier Automata. It's from Soul Calibur, which is a fighting game that 2B is in. But it's still like, you know, the character from an official source. But yeah, obviously you can see as well that like my proportions are not 2B's proportions, but I really don't think that matters for photo shoots. I think you want to capture the pose and the essence, you know? We're not going to be like these characters physically, but you want to like pretend like you are. But yeah, so that's a good reference picture. And then in the middle, we have some TV shows, as I just wanted to give some things that weren't the types of things I cosplay. So for comic books, actual comic book panels and the front covers, awesome resources. Especially because there's so many drawings of them doing like normal everyday things, but also fighting, moving around the city, that sort of thing. Panels are a really strong source if you are a comic book cosplayer. I would look at different artists maybe and see which one like narrows with your kind of interpretation of the character the most. And then we have Sarah Lynn from BoJack over here. If you have a TV show, that's a great one. Just pause, just watch the show and then just pause it sometimes on the character you like. See how they're standing, see how like their facial expressions are just naturally. So TV shows, that's like an easy peasy one. Just pause. Just pause and have a look. Obviously there'll be like art books with these sorts of things, but TV shows is like an easy one in that aspect. Just in general, actually, I really recommend art books from video games, anime, whatever. They are fantastic resources. I know they're a bit pricey, but they have all of like the original drawings of the characters, them doing different emotions, them standing in different ways. So character books, yes. If you want to do lots of reference work, I would really recommend grabbing an art book of that specific series. I don't think I've ever come across one that was like a character, but a specific game or an anime definitely has an art book. Sometimes you can get like more broad and the series will have one. But yeah, definitely recommend art books. And then we have this photo of Haruhi, which is actually done in a similar way to my 2B. So it's just a direct source, like it's one of the main pictures of Haruhi. And so Raymond, while he was taking my photo, would be like, okay, and move your leg more back that way. So the photographer, it's their job to kind of like tell you how to pose if you're doing a reference shot. But you have to be really aware of your body in this way. And as I was saying earlier, like it's really hard to be one-to-one, especially with this Haruhi pic. Like my leg could not do that, but I still think it's a really effective pose and it looks great, and it was so uncomfortable. But I think it's still a really strong pose anyway, even though it's not exact. So like, don't stress if you don't get something like 100%. I still think it looks good if you get like about 60-70%. You just want to get like the character in there, you know? But yeah, this specific picture is just like, it's from the manga. It's like on an anime DVD cover. Pretty standard stuff. And then over here, you can't really see her. But this is a picture of Froppy from actually the My Hero Academia fighting game, which I know might sound like a really weird source because it's an anime and like the game is like kind of a third party thing. But I actually found this to be one of the best sources for Proppy. My Hero cosplayers in general, go look at the game. Because it's a game, they pose all the time. They have idle animations. They have like victory poses. I would really strongly suggest looking at that. So game adaptations of anime or TV shows even. That's something strong you can look at. And then, so again, it's not 100% exact. My tongue is not that long. And I didn't make a prosthetic. But it's still like the same vibe, you know, like it's as similar as you can get. So again, strong idea. And then in the middle we have this Sonia Nevermind from Bianca Stanton, who's a photographer I work with all the time. And this was actually a photo shoot we did in 20 minutes with no planning. Probably wouldn't recommend that, but Danganronpa is probably the easiest series I've ever had to shoot because all of the characters have sprites. Oh, it's amazing. If you just look up like Danganronpa character name sprites, you'll get a sheet of about, I think there's like 15 per character. Just learn them. Burn the sprites into your brain, especially if you do like TikTok, like burn the sprites into your brain. It helps so much. Again, I think I got this one pretty spot on with Sonia. The only thing is that my sock's not pulled up all the way. Get you a photographer that like if that happens they'll be like, hey, your sock. It's because we were in a rush, neither of us noticed. But yeah, definitely look at sprites if you're into visual novels and you cosplay, that sort of thing. Same thing with like Doki Doki Literature Club and like Clannad, literally any visual novel. Look at the sprites, they're a fantastic source. They always look good, and they're mostly, at least from my experience in Danganronpa, they're pretty easy to replicate. Like, it's not like this Haruhi one or this 2B one where I was like, I can't do that with my body. All the Danganronpa sprites, because they're like waist up, are like pretty reasonable. So I would recommend that for sure. And then lastly, we have some idol stuff. We have Ellie from Love Live, which is also taken by Bianca Stanton. So this sort of thing, if you are an idol cosplayer, look at the cards, like in the game. Look at the official merchandise that comes out. That is your best friend. Idol posing, I think, is strongest when you look at the cards. Obviously, this is a really simple card. If you don't know what a card is, basically in idol anime, there are games. It's a gacha game. You get like little pretty pictures of all the characters to advertise different like costumes and stuff. I would strongly look at that. These ones I also find are pretty easy to do. Obviously, I haven't done it perfectly because I wasn't planned well. Again, planning is key, friends. If you plan, I promise your photo shoot will be so much less of a headache for everyone involved. But yeah, I think idol posing is really easy but really effective. And we'll get more into idol posing later. But basically, official art is your best friend. It's like the easiest to replicate the poses, even though I've said like you can't get them one-to-one. You'll see the other references. Like this is I think the best. And if you're going to do a cosplay versus character, I think this is the strongest source material to work with. I think it's just the most iconic of each character. And I just think it looks really strong. So official art is your best friend, everyone, especially art books. So our next reference is character models. Wow, this is mostly a gaming thing. However, obviously there are lots of games of all our favorite comic book characters. We got the Spider-Man series, we got the Batman series, so many. But in general, character models are probably my favorite to work with. If you're playing a third-person game in particular, literally just like turn the right joystick around. Get like a... Do you know what I mean? Like a shot around them. And watch their idle animations. I included Lisa from Genshin Impact and 2B and 9S because these types of characters in particular, if you just let them stand there for a little bit, they're going to like do something, right? It's called an idle animation. So something they'll do when they're just chilling and you're not touching the controller. That also gives you an idea as to how they stand when they are relaxed and not fighting, for example. I would just strongly recommend idle animations if you want to have something more chill, something more vibey. I'm sorry, I can't think of a better word than vibey. But yeah, I think that's just a really strong idea. And then you have games like Overwatch and Skyrim where like that's not as much of a thing. But even still, if you're in Overwatch, for example, this is just hyper specific because I love Overwatch, go into your like character skins and then just spin the model around. Check all their victory poses. Like for example, this is a victory pose. Check their like character, I can't remember what they're called. Their play of the game like clip, right? Like you just want to use basically for this kind of reference as much of the source material as possible if it's a game. And the camera mode is your best friend. If there is a camera mode in your game, please use it. It's such a fantastic resource. I know Genshin Impact has one, Breath of the Wild has one, a lot of JRPGs have them, and Horizon for some reason has one. But play with the photo mode. It's like super helpful, and I highly recommend. This creates a more natural, as opposed to highly produced like the previous slide, so the official art. This is more natural, if that tickles your fancy. But yeah, character models. And then we move on to fan art. Oh my gosh, the credit is cut off. But this is by Little Bink Bonk, my friend Magenta. She did all of the art here. And I thought I would show you that even though fan art is not official most of the time, I think the way artists interpret characters is like really special and unique. And also I know a few cosplayers who've worked with artists directly. Magenta in chat with the eyes. I know a few cosplayers who work with artists directly to do like a recreation of a specific picture, whether it's like a non-canon outfit or a specific pose or a specific environment. I think that's a really strong idea, and you can get a lot of ideas from fan art that you wouldn't necessarily get from any of the other sorts of sources, just because it's such a unique form. You could even get art commissioned and then cosplay the commission. I think that would be pretty cool. I think people would love that. I kind of want to do that now. But yeah, fan art is a fantastic idea. Obviously, sometimes fan art will go off of official poses, but that's not always the case. Like, I've never seen Link drive a bicycle, but he did. And I love that. And I think that would be such a cute photo shoot, Link driving a bike next to like the beach. And Magenta actually is a good example of this because she actually cosplayed this design of Wooloo. It's just a concept she came up with, this little like gijinka of a Wooloo, and she cosplayed it and did like this exact pose, which I thought was really cute. So yeah, fan art is definitely a great medium if you want to be like extra creative, but it's not, I know it's not for everyone. And I just, please get the artist's permission or like talk to them if you're going to include it in the post, because like you don't want to share their work without crediting them, you know? And then our last of our references is figurines. Oh boy, this is a bit of a can of worms for me. I like love using figurines. Do I ever do the poses correctly? Absolutely not. It's like by far the hardest one to do. Now, you will come across two types of figurines in your journey of referencing in your photo shoots. You'll come across with posed figurines, like my diva here. You can pose her, right? Like we can move her around, you know? So that's helpful in that instance. But I honestly mostly use posed figurines. So lucky I just have all these figurines around me. But we've got my Hajime. You can't move him, but this pose, it would be so great for a photo shoot, right? Like it's a really strong pose. It's like canon, so that's helpful if you like doing canon stuff. But yeah, figurines, great resource. Just note, especially for us femme people, our bodies cannot do that. Like a lot of the time, it's not realistic in the slightest, so you need to adapt that into your photos and think about a more realistic way of portraying it. This Kyoko photo is a great example. What is this leg? I have no idea. You can't really, can I move it? I cannot move it. But yeah, I can't do that with my leg. Just a random fun fact about me. There's lots of things that you can't do in figurines, but it's about taking the general idea and kind of like putting that into your photo shoots. And figurines is a great like cross source ones. Like there are anime figurines, there are gaming figurines, there are TV show figurines, there are comic book figurines. Figurines are everywhere. Even if you don't buy a figurine, just look at them online, look at them in stores. Figurines are a super helpful resource for sure. But that's it for reference photos. Again, please work with the photographer really closely. I promise you, reference photos work best when you've communicated really strongly to the other person. But yeah, that's reference photos. We're getting into our next one. Getting into the mind of your character, lore, emotions, personality, and unique traits. So this is probably the hardest to teach. I think this one really comes with experience. If you're starting out with photo shoots, I'd really recommend doing reference pictures because it's the easiest to do and the most effective. This takes a lot of practice, and actually a couple of the photos I've used in here are from before I think I had enough practice, but I kind of want to show you like the years difference and what that makes. So let's get into it. Okay, first of all, lore. Lore is really handy if you are doing something like World of Warcraft, League of Legends, something where like the story takes such a big impact on your character. So let's go over some of them. This is Nico Robin from the anime One Piece. It's about pirates. Nico Robin is an academic. She's extremely intelligent. She loves drinking tea. So this is a pose that is not canon. I don't think she's ever done this in the manga or the anime. However, I chose to do this because I think it really shows her intelligent nature. The photo looks like she's thinking about something, which as an academic, I would think she would be thinking about something. That's kind of the idea I got for this pose. And she also likes drinking tea, and the thigh tilt is nice. We like a bit of that. So hence this Robin pose, right? It like is based off of her characteristics and the things we learn about her throughout the story. So with Emilia over here, this is Emilia from ReZero. She's basically like an elven princess, and with princesses, royalty, you want to be regal and elegant. Nice little hand things like this, and being like dainty. Honestly, if you're doing something really soft, ballet poses are really strong to go by. Any dancery kind of hand movements are really strong. Dainty, you want to be dainty. Helps really a lot for this sort of thing. And with Emilia, she crosses the line of being very dainty but always in control. And I think the control comes in with the leg posing, whereas the daintiness comes from the hands and the face. This photo is, I think, one of my favorite cosplay photos from a photo shoot I have, and I think it's because the posing is just so strong in this. Also, you might notice both of these are sitting. Sitting poses, for some reason, I find look like 11 times better than standing poses. You might not find that, but if you're at a convention, see if you can find a stair to sit on, or like a random chair, and pose in it. You should try it, I promise. It's really creative and I think very different. But yeah, so this is lore. You just got to think about like what the character's been through, their story, and kind of encapsulate that in your posing. Again, with your photographer, if you really want to capture this side, I would recommend working with a photographer who is familiar with the series you're cosplaying from. That was the case when I did Nico Robin. I worked with Pixelbow Photography, and he actually knew more about One Piece than I did, and he was really great to bounce off of. So again, like talking to your photographer is like the biggest tip I can give throughout this. But yeah, learn your characters inside out. Do like a refresh watch or play, or like a little Wikipedia read, just to like, you know, familiarize yourself if you are not super familiar with them, or if it's been a while. That definitely helps. Then we have personality. So these photos are very similar, but this is more a facial expression thing than anything else. Both of these photos like mostly are about waist up, even though waist down is included in this A2 photo. But let's talk about it. So you want to think about the posture your character would have, right? So like if you are a bubbly character, why would they do this? You know, that doesn't make much sense. But if they're up here, wow, that looks really bubbly. You want to think about shoulders a lot if you're trying to convey a different sort of energy, a different sort of personality. Exactly. If their shoulders are bubbly, they wouldn't be hunched over, generally speaking. Obviously, there are exceptions, but you want to like shoulders back. That's also a very like strong, confident character thing, is like shoulders back, head back, chin up. Chin up always looks very strong. Recommend chin up. If you want to, chest puffed out is another one. I do recommend this more for like masculine presenting people than femme presenting people, because sometimes when you do chest out, it just looks a bit funny because of our like back shape. But that's definitely a confidence thing for sure. And facial expressions are super, super important. Practice in front of the mirror or start TikToking, or both. You're gonna be looking at what your face does a lot. Like literally stand in front of a mirror and do what you think is a happy face, and then look at that character and be like, are these similar? And just tweak it till you get to what it is like. This is kind of something to learn over a long period of time, but once you start doing photos for a long amount of time, you have a muscle memory of your face and your body and what feels correct for photos. So I know this with my nose, just after shooting for so long, that I know exactly what angle my nose needs to be at, because I broke my nose, and as you can tell, it looks completely different from different sides, but I know how to shoot that. It's just a time thing and an experience thing. So with Tifa specifically, I was thinking about her time in the slums. Tifa's like very determined, strong spirit, which is how this facial expression came about. She, again, is kind of an introspective character, so looking off and thinking is really important for that. This was actually taken next to a random screen at PAX like a few years ago. Light bouncing off of face is great, but you need to have something to carry that. So a facial expression that really exemplifies that character is like a really strong point to go with. So yeah, we've got that determined spirit from Tifa coming in, which is, I think, the biggest strength of this photo, aside from the wonderful photography from Jared Burns. Then on this side, Nia is very specific to take photos of. Honestly, just JRPGs in general. There's a lot of suffering in JRPGs, and that's something that you really need to be able to convey. I look miserable in this photo, but that's the point, you know? So I just wanted to show as much pain and suffering in my face as possible. This is an old acting trick I learned. Think about something like legit sad that's like either happened in your life, or like maybe something in like a show that you're like, oh, that was so sad. Literally think about that in your head whilst you're trying to pose for something sad. Don't unless you want a crying photo, don't like do it too much, but it really helps to think of something that will make you feel that specific emotion, right? Like if you want to laugh, just think about your favorite TikTok or your favorite meme on Twitter. If you want to be sad, think about like a moment in your life, as long as it's not traumatizing. I think that really genuinely helps, and it's something that actors do. Method acting, darling. But yeah, that's something I super duper recommend. And then lastly for this section, we have unique traits. This is very character specific and series specific. This isn't going to work for everyone. But essentially, this works really strong for dancers and anyone who has a fighting style. So first of all, when you're doing these sorts of poses, please stretch beforehand, not just for safety reasons, but you'll be able to push further with your body's flexibility if you have stretched beforehand. So with Kasumi, she is a dancer, she's a gymnast, so I wanted her to look like flexible and really strong, hence this photo. These kinds of poses are hard in that you don't hold it for a long time. You hold it and then you go down, and then you hold it and then you go down, because you really don't want to hurt yourself. That's like what I need to like get across in this slide. Please don't hurt yourself, be safe. For Kasumi though, and any fighting game character or even superheroes, you want to create lines. Notice how this is like really specific. It's like, okay, that's like like an arrow straight, and then this like box shape here. It looks really strong because you've created strong lines and it's really sharp. You don't want any floppiness with these types of poses. This is another one where you've created lines. That's a very dance thing, but creating lines is like foolproof way to make a good photo. You want to have that like really strong like wow factor, and creating lines is really, really helpful for that. So yeah, stretch beforehand, be careful of your balance. If you're going to be doing a lot of poses like this, practice with the shoes that you're going to work with, because I don't do that and then I regret it literally every single time I do it. I was on the beach in heels and I was like sinking into the ground. Yeah, please prepare if you're going to do anything like that. If you're doing fighting poses, look up the specific style of fighting or just them fighting in general. Pause or get like the general gist. Again, neither of these are poses based on official art. These are just my interpretations of things these characters would do and a strong posing idea. So when you marry those two together, I think it really creates something magical. So that's our fun little character bit. And then this is a similar sort of thing, but this is how to tell us, oh my god, how to tell a story. So concept shoots, original ideas, fanon versus canon. So this is the most creative style of photo shoots in my opinion. So these Tokahimiko photos, this is not canon. This is not canon at all. This is just an idea I had where I was like, what if she was way creepier and gross than she actually was in the series? I worked really strongly with Vinny VQL Films on Instagram to create this like gross, really weird angles and uncomfortable looking photo shoot. Not the whole photo shoot is like this, but this specific location definitely is. This was just like my own kind of idea, and I know we all interpret different things from different characters, and I would really recommend that. Like if you just think something about a character, like maybe you think that they should have responded in a different way in the story, or maybe you think that one part of their character isn't really how you like think about them, like you can change that. Like this is my own idea, and I honestly think it's one of the best photo shoots I've done because it was an original idea, right? Like these angles are funky, but they work. There's an amazing cosplayer from Russia called Naga Livestream, and she actually for these concept shoots writes a storyboard. She draws a little storyboard for every single shot she wants to get. That's a lot of work, but if you want something really strong and to be able to tell a story, that storyboard idea is really, really strong. Also, movement shots are really strong for concept shoots. If you've done cosplay photography before, you've probably encountered it. If not, here's some fun facts for you. Basically, a photographer will ask you to walk or like turn or put your arm up for an amount of time, and they will take a continuous amount of shots, kind of like a GIF, in a row. So this one was actually taken of me just walking down the stairs, and there's like 20 photos of this because each is very slightly different. Movement ones are great. When I did my Barbara photo shoot, we did lots of twirling, and the twirling photos look really beautiful. Movement shots aren't too hard to do. It's just that you'll only get a couple from each movement because some of them will be like, you know, something will look wrong. But movement shots are really good for conceptual photo shoots. And yeah, move around like your character would or how you interpret that character, right? So this isn't, she doesn't walk like this. It's just something I thought that like maybe she could do because that's how I interpret her character. So concept shoots is all like your imagination, your creativity. And then we have completely original ideas. So a concept shoot doesn't have to have literally any root in canon. This photo shoot has zero. It's just an idea I had for like 4 years. And I was like, wouldn't that be cool? And guess what? It was cool. If you have a random idea like that, I actually really recommend following through on it. Your gut ideas are going to be good ones. And if you have like an original and unique skill you can bring to the table through a photo shoot, I cannot recommend that enough. I think it says a lot about you as a person and your creativity to take other aspects of your life into cosplay. Like literally any idea you think is cool is a good idea. I promise. It doesn't have to have any root in any canon or legitimacy. It's your idea, and I have had a really strong response from this photo shoot because it's so unique. So yeah, be unique, friends. Do your own wacky ideas. Like I have a friend, oh yeah, Peter shot this. Jinxall, who's in chat right now, is the photographer for this shoot. It's an idea I think both of us had for a really long time, and it turned out really good. But like in terms of original ideas, like my friend Magenta is making a Sonic the Hedgehog cosplay. Like why not? You just want to do whatever you dang want, and original ideas are really strong for photo shoots. Okay, we're up to our last bit, and then we're gonna do questions. So This is go-to posing for conventions or simple shoots. So let's get into it. This is mostly cutesy characters, but I can talk about it in depth a bit more. So I kind of cheated because this photo is at my house. This is not a convention, but these three are. And they all have different strengths and different weaknesses. So here are some of my go-tos. Peace sign, classic, very cute, very like, hey, I'm at a convention. It's literally always cute. I do recommend though, extend your fingers like as far as you can and like really strain them. I think it looks stronger than like strain them. I promise it looks better. Then we have heart. There are lots of variations with the heart. You can do this or this. Or that one, or if you're feeling really funky, you can do and get your friend to do the other side. Hearts are really cute. Obviously that's for cutesy characters, but I'm not gonna lie, if I saw the Doom guy do this, that's the best cosplay photo ever. Like, muck around, it's a convention. I think it's fun to do stuff like that. Other ideas are hands on hips for confident or more fun characters. So my Haruhi Suzumiya, obviously it's a side angle, but even from the front, like hands on the hips is a really strong posing idea, and I think that's a really good one for mask and femme characters. Hands on hips is just strong. Whether you do both hands on hips or just one, have one down, have one arm behind you, the one touching your knee. Hands on hips is really just like a good staple. You never want to be at a convention and do this. Never do that. You don't want it to be simple. You want it to be like, ooh, look at that. And hands on the hips is a good shortcut to do that. And then we have the lean forward, which is so good for cutesy characters, or if you just want to portray something cute. So you put your hands behind your back and you just kind of like lean down. Pick whichever side of your face you like. I think the side looks better than like front on. But yeah, hands behind your back and just lean forward from the back. I think it looks really cute. This was taken by Pixelbow Photo. This was taken by Locky Takes Photos. And this one was taken by MFM Photography. And these three are all at conventions. And I think the only one you can tell is this one, just because of the background. But like, yeah, that was at a convention. Also for conventions, if you want like actually really good photos, move away from everyone and go find like a random patch of like grass. Have the photographer blur the background really strongly. Those photos will not look like convention photos, I promise you. Again, working with your photographer, but I know that's a bit hard at conventions. Everyone's like in a rush and we can't always do that. And yeah, specifically this is for idle and cute characters, but I do think hands on the hips is like, yeah, I know, I just don't know your new name because you updated it today. Anyway, yeah, anything like this is really strong. You just want something simple. Honestly, if you're going to a convention and you don't know, literally just Google your character name and just look at what's in Google Images and just pick like one or two for a convention. You really don't need that many for a convention, but in my opinion anyway. And then other ones we have, that's a really good idle one. You have the finger guns. You can also do a salute. I really like the salute. I think it's really cute. This is a great anime character pose, but I think it also works for like cutesy characters. Finger guns is a classic. You could also just do this if you want a meme shot, but like the finger gun is a really cute one. And then we have, I'm really bad at this one because my fingers don't want to do it, but we have the 3 peace sign is what I want to call it, like 3. It looks really cute, right? Obviously it looks a bit clawish because I can't, my fingers like don't want to do it. Yeah, so that's a good idea. I also think this style of posing is so good for selfies. Like peace, 3, gun, 5. That sort of thing is so strong in selfies because you can only usually have like, I'm gonna say like chest up in a selfie, not all the time, but you have less posing to work with a selfie. So doing something cute with your hands, even hands on the face, you know, thinking is a classic of mine. One hand on the face. Those are really, really cute for selfies. Also just like for funsies, something that I really recommend is downloading Snow, but take all of the face changing stuff off. Just put in like your filter that you want, right? Snow is like an app you can get on the App Store. It's probably like most cosplayers' best friend for cute cosplay selfies. I super recommend it. Oh shoot. Okay, we are at the Q&A portion. I'm sorry for not reading chat. I just wanted to make sure I was on pace. But if you guys have any questions about posing or characterization, send them through. I love it, but the filters are extreme. You just got to turn them way down. Mine are on like 20 and I don't have any of the face changing stuff on. I literally just have like the filter on. I think I have mine on 20%. That's what I recommend. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, queries about posing or characterization, this isn't a Q&A about me, just for my regular viewers. This is specifically about the panel. And whilst we're doing this, if the wonderful Craftfest team could draw the winner of the MadFest voucher, that would be fantastic. But yeah, send through your questions. If you have any questions about specific photos, specific photo shoots, posing recommendations, any of my experiences on photo shoots, yeah, just send them through. Otherwise, I'll just like dance for now. Don't really know it. Just vibing as we wait. Any guides about location scouting? Okay, so I think this is one where you definitely want to work with the photographer, as I've said. Honestly, I'm someone who travels quite a lot and goes on like little adventures, and I think that's the best way to location scout. But also, Google is your friend for location scouting. If you're like, you know what, I want to shoot at a desert, Google where you are and then desert, and then have a look at the results. Same thing if you want a garden. If you want something that's more factory-like, Google somewhere abandoned. I would suggest, honestly, just taking yourself out on little adventures so that you can find these like cute little pockets. Like, honestly, most of my shoot locations, I've just been like, hey, I've been here before, like to lunch, and I think it would make a good photo shoot style. So yeah, I just recommend, honestly, just in your existence of life, traveling around and then being like, oh yeah, that would make a good photo shoot. On Friday I shot at Million Life in the Melbourne CBD, and it was just like a place I had been before. Never shot there before, but I went, the lighting seems cool in here, and I think it would be strong for characters of specific colors. And the staff were really friendly, which is always appreciative. So yeah, I would just recommend, honestly, taking yourself on little adventures, going to places you wouldn't normally go. Just like pick a restaurant or something, or like a cafe, and then just have a little walk around. That's honestly how I find most of my locations. Okay. Poses for tough characters. Okay. When people ask me in the middle of the artist alley, I'm just like, oh, okay, fair enough. I actually think tough posing is all in the face. I have to do this for 2B a lot. Also, tough posing helps a lot if you have a prop on you, if you have a sword. Over the back is like really strong. I think tough characters I really like on the side. I can't really do it fully because I'm sitting down, but I think tough characters is mostly in the face, and you really want shoulders back, chin up. That's how you give the most confidence in photos. You want to look like you're better than everyone else. So you want to exude that, and make sure your back is like as straight and stuck up as possible. I don't know if this will help anyone, but I used to be a ballerina, and they would teach us that you'd have a string coming out of your scalp with a balloon attached. And if you kind of envision that, that's how you should stand as a tough character. Like really, really like, you gotta be like really, really strong posture. Posture and facial expressions, I think, are the best for tough posing. If you really can't think of specific poses, get them to shoot you up really close and just give like the most fierce look you can possibly give. Anything like here, like just above the chest to here, on the side with a really like tough facial expression, I think that's really strong if you can't think of anything. But props are your best friend, and posture for tough posing. Advice on talking to people that work at locations to make sure to shoot there. I always get anxious. Shoot them an email, DM on Instagram. Honestly, I feel like most of the places I shoot with, they either don't require asking or we ask when we're there. But if it's something that stresses you out, you can just go to locations where you don't have to ask, like a garden or a beach or in an alleyway. But if you do want to ask, literally just get in touch with them on social media and be like, you need to stress though, if you're doing at like a cool location, that it is not for profit. It's for fun. It's not commercial photography, because otherwise you will not be able to shoot there. I would assume you're not shooting, like most people in here aren't shooting for profit anyway, but if you're shooting for profit, it's really hard to be able to be allowed to do that in like private spaces just legally. So you just got to really exemplify is not the right word. You need to just explain to them that it's not for profit and that you would like to shoot there at this time. It's just for fun. That's my recommendation. Do we have the winner of the voucher? Craftfest. Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Oh my god. What the hell? That's a lot of money. Not yet. Okay, that's all good. Don't worry. Yeah, ew. Yeah, no. I mean, if you want to pay that, you can, but you can almost always find nice shoot locations that you don't have to pay for, in my experience. Your panel ends at 6:10. Oh, true. I'm late, but hi. That's okay. Well, let's just do Q&A to 6:10. It closes at 6. Okay, cool. But yeah, if anyone has any specific questions about photos, or just you'd like me to go more in depth on something, I'm just giving you like a little refresher. We got our references. We've got our getting into the mind. What's good to share reference between photographers for reference planning? So for that, I would definitely say a Google Doc, because it's just easy for everyone. A Google Doc that you share, make like a little table in there. Like what I did with Red Scarf is we had a table saying like who sent in which picture, and we had a bunch of photos, and then on the right we would have explanations for why we put that photo in. So I would say, hey, I put this photo in because I really like the lighting style, or I put this in because I'd really like to try this pose, or I like the editing that's been done in this photo. But Google Docs, absolutely, it's just the easiest in my opinion for collaborative work. And then just make a little table and sort it out. What's your go-to pose? Oh my gosh. Honestly, it kind of depends on the character. If it's a selfie, classic. You just can do no wrong in the cute. For other cute stuff, I really like arms out, almost like your Naruto running. Where is my froppy picture? This one here. Oh my god, at everyone, please use this pose. It's so effective. Like, I know it feels really weird when you do it, but it's so cute. But I think like an actual go-to pose for me, apart from the peace sign, is like the thinking, the like arm on the and the I think that's a really strong one. And then hands on hips. It's been a while. Honestly, I mostly, apart from selfies, create specific poses for characters. All right, let me get to the exit. Personal fave shot. Oh my gosh, ever? Honestly, maybe that one toga one. Come on, this one. Where did it come from? I don't know, but I love it. I think it really portrays the vibe that we were like really striving for. I think this is my favorite, but close second definitely goes to this Amelia photo. I just think it's so beautiful, and the posing really exemplifies her character, at least to me. Okay, what else do we have? Sorry, my ring light is like in the way of chat, so I'm like trying to read it, but it's in the way. Tip for improving posing: start to do stretching and Flexibility, yoga that adds strength. Posture, would you think it's especially useful? Yeah, so actually some background is that I've been a dancer since I was 3. I think dancing, and honestly just yoga in general, it teaches you how to breathe, keep your posture, and how to like stay for long amounts of times in specific poses. If you are going to do really atmospheric stuff, I like so recommend dancing in like any capacity. Honestly, even if you just dance in your house, I promise it helps. But honestly, like the biggest tip I can give for improving is literally just practice. Like I've been cosplaying since I was 10, guys. I'm 22 now. It's taken me like a while to get to this point, but I shoot pretty frequently, and I think genuinely I get better with every single photo shoot. So just practicing helps a lot. Like shoot yourself literally all the time. It really helps. Tips on doing natural smiles. Oh my gosh, I wish I could tell you. I never smile with my teeth because I'm insecure about my teeth. But I think smile's all about in the eyes. I don't really think the mouth matters that much. Like when I smile, I just really want to portray it through my eyes. I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah, eyes. Focus on the eyes for smiling. Like I don't really think your mouth matters that much. Just like, I try and like, I don't understand how to do this. Like explain this. I try and make my eyes bigger and like have like squint a bit and have like the eye puffs like sit under my eyes. Does that make any sense? I just think it gives a more like genuinely happy look. But smiling is one of those things you got to practice in the mirror, and I'm not very good at it. But practice in the mirror smiling and get to a point where you're like, oh, that one, that's my smile. Definitely recommend that. How to feel confident and not self-conscious when posing sexy-ish poses. That's I think an experience thing. For sure, but also for that very specifically, do a pole dancing class. I swear to God, like it's just such a confidence booster, and because you're around other people like that, I think it really helps with that sort of thing. I feel really bad because I just like naturally am a bit of a confident person, but I think doing activities that put you out of your comfort zone can really help for that sort of thing. And things like pole dancing totally help, in my opinion anyway. But also that's another thing that like just posing all the time you'll get better at. Also for those kinds of photo shoots, I would really strongly recommend looking at your peers or your friends or people you admire who do those sorts of photos. I actually do that whenever I shoot my Patreon sets, just because it's a really weird one to pose for, just logistically, in terms of like hurting your body. I would just recommend looking at other cosplayers pretty much, or anyone in that field. Do you have any general tips for public location shoots with prop weapons? Ooh, okay, so it definitely depends on the prop and it depends on the location. So I think something that looks really, really unrealistic is generally a non-issue. However, guns are like a bit of a like... I would probably do... If I was doing a gun photo shoot, I would either like confirm with the people ahead of time, like, hey, it's made of foam, you can touch it if you like. And because I've had to do this for diva photo shoots, just go into a very secluded area where you won't be bothered. But for realistic guns, I don't know, it's really tricky. I would honestly recommend doing a studio shoot because in Australia specifically, we have really strong laws about this stuff and you just don't want to be breaking the rules. For a sword though, unless it's realistic, I don't really see why they'd say no, but like you can ask around at other parks. Like I haven't had any issues with my swords, but they also look very fake. So I'm not really sure. But I would just ask for other parks and maybe send photos of your weapon and be like, hey, this is what it looks like. You can touch it if you want. It's not sharp. I think you just got to sell them because a lot of people aren't familiar with cosplay, especially people who own parks and things. Now I want to ask tips for starting out dancing. I wish I could tell you, but a different stream, I guess. Emphasis more on the eyes, not a bad idea, actually. Yeah, eyes in general is like what you want to portray in your photos. Oh my gosh, we have a winner, Kira. thank you so much for entering, everyone, and congratulations on your $50 voucher from Madman Entertainment. I'm so excited for you to buy whichever you will buy. I have a figurine coming I'm really stoked about. The authenticity of prop weapons, if only they knew it was for fantasy/acting. I'm gonna ask you a message, go for it. All of the waifus. Yes, exactly. Do we have any last questions? We have 7 minutes left, or 6 minutes left. Literally anything. Also, I'm sorry to keep touching my ears. I was gonna wear my headphones, but they don't sit on my wig, so I have to wear these earbuds that don't belong to me. So apologies on my part. I'll put it on, I don't know, what's a good slide to put it on? Let's put it on this one. I'm really proud of this one. Will I be seeing you at Supernova next week? Yes, you will. I will be at Supernova. Actually, this is really random, but at photo shoots, if you're really struggling with poses, get your friend who is good at poses to come with you to your photo shoot and have them stand next to the photographer and they do poses and just copy it. I can't tell you how many times I have done this for people where they've been like, Gemma, I don't know how to pose, and I'm like, don't worry about it, and I just turn up and I'll be behind the camera being like, do this, do this, do this, I believe in you. Sometimes having a friend there can like ease you into it. Honestly, yeah, that's how I've like taught all my friends to do photo shoots. You just gotta be nearby and be like stealth pose helper. Just standing there and then do this. Don't forget, chat, to enter the $100 Animate Abbotsford gift voucher. Oh my god. Yeah, do that, chat. Also, I'd suggest having a friend with you when doing a shoot. Yes, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I forgot to mention that. But yeah, if you're doing a photo shoot outside of a convention, please bring someone with you, especially if you're a woman. Oh my god, or a minor. Please bring someone with you. If you are a minor, bring an adult with you, please. Oh my gosh. Also, this is a weird tip, but I'm gonna say it because I think it's important. If you are shooting with someone and you are getting bad vibes, do not shoot with them. If they are like, please don't bring anyone else, or they're getting flirty, please don't shoot with them. Like, if you're getting bad vibes off of them, chances are your gut is correct. And if you're like not sure, if you're in Melbourne, just ask me and I'll be like, yeah, they're a good person or not. But if you're like stressed about a photographer, just ask someone in that community if they've shot with them or if they know anything about them. Most cosplayers would be like more than happy to protect you against this sort of thing. I know I personally am. So if you ever are like, hey, I don't know anything about this photographer, like, what do you think? I'm so like more than happy to talk to you about that, because I think it's really important to keep our communities safe, particularly minors. So yeah, be safe with your photo taking. Like, I know cosplay is fun, but we don't want anything bad to happen. But yeah. Sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say. Is asking if you are single considered bad? I would probably be like, ugh, that's a red flag. We're shooting cosplay. Why are you asking that? That's personally a red flag for me. It probably might not be for everyone, but especially if you're a woman getting asked if you're single, I would just be like, no. I would consider that bad with a photographer. Yeah, definitely. Okay, good. I'm glad we're having these conversations. It's so important to keep everyone safe. Looking forward to seeing you at Supernova. Oh, thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you all. I hope this panel has helped. I hope at your next convention you could bust out something that really wows people, or at your next photo shoot. Basically, the things I want you to remember is plan really extensively, communicate as strongly with your photographer as possible, brush yourself up on the source material, and use references if you want a really quick, easy photo. And then small things like, if you really want, ask the photographer to see the photo that you've taken so you can like fix things. But yeah, those are like my biggest tips. Communicate, be familiar with your source, And yeah, apart from that, my challenge to everyone is to do a really unique photo shoot, something that really emphasizes your like a skill of yours that might not be in cosplay. Like I did this aerial silks shoot. There are a whole lot of other things you could do. It doesn't have to be dance. It could just be like a random skill that you have. If the One Keys Cafe, they were cool with you shooting, yeah, kind of want to cosplay there one day. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was actually invited to do a photo shoot there by One Piece Plus. They invited me, but I would contact them ahead of time just because it can be really busy there. But they're like pretty chill. You just gotta like you just gotta ask and be like, please. And ask. I did mine at like 5 p.m. on like a Monday, so you gotta go at like a weird time. Oh well, that's cool. Hey, they found you. Yeah, I have no idea how they found me. I actually did the cosplay specifically for the cafe. I had never cosplayed One Piece before, so I don't know how they found me. Yeah, do a One Piece cosplay, should be fine. Yeah, if anyone else has any like last minute questions, we've got a minute left. But I'll go back to my webcam, but I just want to say thank you so much for coming and listening to my panel on posing and characterization. There's not much of Craftfest left, but I hope you have enjoyed it so much. There have been so many amazing panels. If you haven't caught all of them, most of them will be uploaded as a VOD if you want to check that out. Is it okay? Yes. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me on Instagram. I might do like a little question Q&A thing on Monday about this panel. But thank you so much for coming. I had so many technical difficulties. I'm like so surprised we actually got to do it, but I'm really happy and humbled we were able to. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for Craftfest for being amazing, and thank you for all of the sponsors for making Craftfest as special as can be. And shout out to Kira for your $50 voucher. Keen to see what you end up getting. Thanks for such a fun panel. No worries. I hope you all enjoyed and I wasn't too casual. Have a tendency to do that. Wow, who's next for Craftfest? Or do we literally just have the closing? Because I want to do a little promoty poo. Alright. Craftfest. Okay, yeah, next we have 3D printing and creating a cosplay business by Illustrious Models and Printing. Yay! I actually love their products so much, I'm like thinking about getting something made. You should absolutely check them out. They do amazing work, like amazing. If you're really into weapons and 3D printing, please have a look. They're so cool. And then there'll be the closing mention at the end. But yeah, I guess I'll close out. Thanks for having me, everyone. Craftfest admins, if it's okay, you can stop hosting me, and I want to just thank people on my end for following and things like that, if that's okay. But yeah, you can stop the host. I just want to thank people. I'm old school candle statuses paintings. I do. Oh my gosh, my sound started playing for a second. Oh yeah, the lighting is pretty bung in here. Sorry about that. Let me close my curtain. Oh no, I missed it. That's okay. I'll upload a VOD later, so don't stress about it. But we all Gucci. Yeah, who's excited about the 3D printing panel? I'm very excited. Let me just promo them because I think they're amazing. I want to talk to you about one of the things I want to get from them whilst we wait for them to pass over. So, okay. Illustrious Models. Okay, they have a lot of things, but they do Venti's harp from Genshin Impact, and it's so gorgeous. I'm looking at their stuff right now. Oh, you guys are really in for a treat for the next panel. Everything looks so beautiful. And they know what they're talking about. They're like the 3D printing professionals in Australia. I would trust them with my life. I still adore the Doraemon plush. He's a classic. For those of you who've been tuned into Craftfest, what's been your favorite panel that you've been to this weekend, so that people who've only been to this one or haven't been as caught up to date can have like one to go back to? What's been everyone's favorite panel? My favorite panel was M. Jane's panel. I loved it. I did it as I was like doing my makeup. Venti supremacy. Yes, very true. Okay, I think they've stopped hosting me. I'm like trying to see. But yeah, lots of good panels. Team Venti. Okay, I think I'm not hosting anymore. Good. Alrighty. I'll turn they started the next one now. Okay, cool. I'm gonna thank you all, and then I want you to go see the next panel. Okay, let's thank Eneldon for following. Thank you so much. Grieving Doll for the host. Thank you so much. Oh, my scroll is like a little broken. Met Allen 22 for the follow. Ichigo Gamer for the follow. Craftfest for hosting. AJ and me for following. Blaze Knight 7 for following. Yeah, thanks everyone for all the follows, and I believe Andrew donated bits earlier, so thank you so much for that. I do kind of want to stream again, but as you can see by today's stream, technology was not on my side, so hopefully I can improve that. Okay, I'm gonna host the next panel so you can see it. All right, we're going to be hosting the next panel. But yeah, thanks for coming, everyone. I really appreciate it. It's been wonderful. Alrighty. All right, go enjoy the panel. Go see the amazing 3D printing and give illustrious models some love. Great panel. Thank you. And thank you guys for sticking around, even though the technical difficulties and the lighting is bung. But I appreciate you all. Mwah. Go watch the panel. Woo!